All right, so we are ready for lesson 1.2. This is area of a rectangle, part 1. You can see here on the first slide, it says, my goal is to develop and practice a method to find the area of rectangles with fractional sides. This connects to our state standard 5.m.2. That's about finding the area of a rectangle with fractional side lengths by modeling with unit squares of the appropriate unit fraction side length, and show that the area is the same as would be found by multiplying the side lengths. Multiply fractional side lengths to find areas of rectangles and represent fraction products of rectangular areas. We aren't going to focus on the fractional side yet of the standard. We are just going to focus on finding the area of a rectangle. And hopefully this is a little bit of a review for you. But let's break down our objective. So again, it says my goal is to develop and practice a method to find the area of rectangles with fractional sides. So we can see the word develop and the word practice are both underlined here. So the word develop means to grow or cause to grow, become more mature, advanced. So we would say that we're going to try to grow our understanding, try to advance our understanding, and practice is underlined, but here we know that practice is to keep doing something over and over until we become better at it, using strategies, using methods. And so then we want to look at what the word method means. Method is a particular form of procedure for accomplishing or approaching something, especially a systematic or established one. So systematic would be, we might have a system for finding area. We have maybe a formula. So if you're in class, we're going to, do 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of reflecting on how we feel about this. If you are at home watching this, maybe take a minute, pause the video, and think through, how do you feel about finding area of a rectangle? Is this something that's going to be brand new to you, or you have struggled with and you're going to be a 1? Or you in between? Or are you all the way to the 4 and you feel like, oh wow, this is going to be a great review. I could probably teach somebody how to do this. And when you're ready, go ahead and move on. In lesson 1, I did talk about a little bit about mental math. Why do we do mental math? Why is it important that we at least try? And what will the mental math routine look like? So again, mental math is like get our brain warmed up and get focused back onto math. When we're in school, in person, our math lesson comes at the end of the day, and we've had a long day. We've done our reading, our language arts. We've had recess and lunch, and we're going to do math towards the end of the day, and we want to focus our energy and our mind back to academics and be into math. And it's good to practice, and doing those mental math is going to strengthen your thought process and just get you quicker with those mental math strategies. So here are some mental math problems. I would like you to pause the video after I've read through these, write down the answers. You should not have to write out the actual problems and work, but if you do, that's fine for this. This is our first round. But for mental math, again, pause for this. We've got 3 different levels I'm going to show you here. You'll have 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9 plus 1/9, and then 2/6 plus 2/6 plus 1/6. Pause the video here, come back, and I will give you the answers to these. Okay, so you should have solved these problems. For the first one, you should have gotten 3/8. Sorry, my writing got a little messed up there. The second row, 5/9, because we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1/9. And then this last one should be 5/6, because we see 2 plus 2 plus 1, which is 5, 5/6. All right, let's clear that ink. So you see your mental math will connect to your strategies or your focus area. These are not loading. So for today, they're there. Okay. So we've got another set. We've got 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, 6/8 plus 6/8 plus 6/8 plus 6/8, 3/7 plus 4/7 plus 2/7 plus 5/7. Pause the video, try these out, and come back and check. Okay. So in the first one, we see that we have 4 halves that are added together. So that tells me that my answer is 4 halves or 2. You would have 2 wholes because we know that 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So you see you have 2 wholes there. Here we have 4 6/8. So I know that 6 plus 6 is 12, then 18, then 24 over 8. And I know that 24 divided by 8 equals 3. And then finally, the bottom one, I see 4 plus 7, or I'm sorry, 4 plus 3 is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. So 7 and 7 is 14. And 14/7 is 2. Okay, so now we're moving on to, there we go. Now we're moving on to the final one. This is the level 3. We've got 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, 3/12 plus 7/12 plus 5/12 plus 10/12. Go ahead, pause it, we'll check it. Okay, so the top would be 4/3, the middle one would be 10/3, and the bottom would be 25/12. Bonus if you went ahead and made these into whole numbers with fractions, this would be 1 and 1/3. Now again, this is an extension. The red is what I was really looking for. Blue is bonus. 10/3 would be 3 and 1/3. And 25/12 would be 2 and 1/12. Again, only looking for the red, but if you got the blue, way to go. Okay, so remember I have shown in a previous video how to get to your SRB, but in our math journal, we see that it says, write 2 important facts that you learned about area after reading Student Reference Book, page 221. So you can either use a hard copy if you are in class or you've got the online copy, but we also have it right here on this slide for us, okay? So we see that area, sometimes we want to know about the amount of surface inside of a shape. The amount of surface inside the boundary of a closed shape is called the shape's area. Area is a 2-dimensional measurement, okay? So as we move on through our lessons, we will eventually get to 3-dimensional, but right now it is simply 2-dimensional measurements. So you see a couple images right here. These represent 2 different backyards, okay? So we've got the area of Carla's backyard, and then we've got Greg's backyard. You can see that Carla's backyard is larger than Greg's because Greg's backyard can be placed inside of Carla's. So area is measured in square units. A square unit is a square of consistent size and shape. That means that it stays the same. 1 square unit is called a unit square. You can find the area of a shape by counting the number of unit squares that cover the inside of the shape. The squares must cover the entire inside of the shape and they cannot overlap, so they can't go outside of the shape to count. You can't have any gaps and you can't have any coverings outside of the shape. So here's an example right here of how we would do an area of a hexagon. And you can see that right here represents 1 square unit. So we would see that this would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 square units. So this is where you would go into your math journal for lesson 1.2 and fill in what are 2 facts, they can be fun, but 2 facts, important facts that you see about area. And then when you're ready, you can move on to the next part. So for this, we've got problems 3 and 4, and you can see that we're on page 5 of our math journal. Find the area of each rectangle, and don't forget to include a unit. So you can see that they have put this on some grid paper for us, And I'm going to talk through number 4 because it does include that half unit, and we're not quite ready for those yet. We haven't practiced with that. So I'm going to show you this here. Okay. So it says in problems 3 and 4, each square is 1 square unit, find the area. So here I can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 whole square units, but then I see I've got 2 half units. And I know, so we practice that mental math. This mental math is always going to help us out. I know that 2 halves equals 1. So I can count this as 1 right here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The area of this one is 9 square units. And SQ with a period is an abbreviation for square. So this one's got 9 square units. Okay. So this one, I'd like you to pause the video and find the area of this one on your own, and then come back and check your work. All right, so you can see my work here. I've counted all the squares, and I got 12 units, and I got this little 2 here. Units, and then this 2 that's up high actually represents squared, so it's units squared. Now, I want to show you something before we move on. I see a 4, and I see a 3. Okay, so I know that this is a 4 by 3. What do we know about 4 times 3? Think about that. That's something we will get to more in depth later, but definitely I want you to focus on that. Think about what I just showed you. So here's another problem that I'm going to talk about and show you. You see this is an I do. I'm just going to work through this for you. So I see it's a 4 unit by 9 unit. I'm going to do this 2 different ways. I'm going to do it one way, kind of like I talked to you about in that last slide. What I would do with a problem like this. I see it's a 4 by a 9. I said I have 4 by 9. Okay. Well, I know that 4 times 9 is 36. Okay. So I'm going to predict that this is going to be 36 square units. And I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So was I correct? Yes. So I'm hoping you're starting to see a pattern here, or being reminded of a formula maybe for finding area. So I would see the area of this rectangle A, is 36 units squared, or 36 squared units. Okay. So this is a we do, but since you are watching this, this is something that I would, in class, we will talk about together, but while you're watching this, I'll kind of do it similar as the I do, and we'll talk about it first. We'll pause the video, and then you'll come back to see if you were in the right direction, okay? So for this one, we're looking at it, and I see that 3 by 5. I want you to listen to what I said. 3 by 5. Pause the video and come back to see if you know what 3 times 5 is. Good job. Hopefully you got 15. So that's telling me that we're predicting, if our formula is right, if our thinking is right, that if 3 by 5 is a 15, we're going to get 15 squares here. Now notice they did not extend all the lines. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going this way, but this doesn't extend. So I'm going to take my pencil or my marker and I'm going to extend these lines the best I can. If I'm doing it with paper, I'd use a ruler or a straight edge. Now I should be able to go through and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to finish this. Pause the video, come back, and let's see if we get the same thing. All right, so you'll see my work here. I counted all the way to 15, so I know that it is 15 units squared or 15 squared units. And this last one is for you to do. So I want you to pause your screen, get a piece of paper, a whiteboard, something, and find out, try it on your own, what is the what is the area, what is the area of rectangle C? I see that it's a 4 by 6. So we've got 4 this way and 6 this way. Pause the video now, come back and check. Okay, so here's my work. You can see that I did 6 times 4, I got 24. I also checked my work by drawing out my lines here, and I can see that I have 4 in each row. So I did 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, same as 4 times 6, and I got 24. You could have also have done 6, 6, 6, 6, and got 24. Both those ways represent 6 times 4 or 4 times 6, and our answer would be 24 square units. Now, I'd like you at home to try this with a partner at home. So it could be a parent, an aunt, a grandparent, a sibling. Go ahead and work together on this problem. You've got, this one now has the fraction unit, and let's see what you guys come up with. You can use a piece of paper, a whiteboard, whatever you have to show your work on at home. Try this with someone. Talk through it. Pause the video now, and then come back when you're finished. Okay, so you can see my work here. I expanded the lines. I counted all the whole squares. And then over here, I labeled each one of these 1/3 because I see that they represent a third. And I know that 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is 1. I also took 12 and 4/3 up here, and I got 13 and 1/3. Now I'll show you, because I know that this right here would represent my 13, my 13th unit, and then I've got that 1/3 left over, giving me my 13 and 1/3. So 13 and 1/3 units squared, or squared units. So this is just a reminder that today's lesson, we are easing into area. It's to develop and practice a method to find it. We will get into more later, and a reminder that this is part 1. We're going to have a part 2. What I'd like you to do now is practice doing the problems that you see in your math journal. 8 units by 6 units, 7.5 by 2, and a 4 by 5 and 1/3. And then this one's a bonus one. I urge you to try it, okay? And then I would like you to reflect on the objective. How do you feel? Again, your goal was to develop and practice a method to find the area of rectangles. And then we added in the fractional sides towards the end. We started out with whole numbers and moved in with fractional sides.